right. Welcome to another episode of Chatting with Patty. Today, my guest is Marie Francoise. She is a life coach, entrepreneur, and speaker. I met her the first time a few years ago, and her voice was the first thing that seduced me. You're going to find out very soon once you hear her speak. You'll know why it works. But more importantly, I was very much impressed with the way she tended all the areas of her life. She created a life where freedom was really important to her, where she was able to, was and is able to travel, participate in workshops, lead workshops, and really, and actually have philanthropy with animals. She helps animals very much, gives to causes. She leads a very purposeful life, and it's very much in line with what I would like to be doing. So when I met her, I said, she needs to be my friend. And so here we are. And I recently coached with her, and she exposed a certain kind of style of coaching to me. She did a process with me that was really mind-blowing, that I tried on 2 different people, and it was really cool, the outcome. It was a great positive return. So I wanted to share with everyone here a little bit more about her coaching process and style. So Marie, welcome. And yes, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Patty, and welcome everyone. Thank you for having me today. As
My
you can see, I have an accent, and that's a French accent.
Yes, yes, yes. I love it. So before we go right into what you're going to coach us about, can you just give us a brief overview of like how you're part of your journey and how you showed up here today in the sense of with your life and all the rest of it. So if you can share that.
Sure. Well, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because there is a lot on my website that you guys can, take a look. My objective today was really to go right into the core of what I want to discuss. But, I could tell you what I can tell you about me is that I'm a passionate woman. I've always been passionate about everything that I get involved with. And my passion, I would say, has sometimes worked towards me and sometimes has worked against me. So 4 years ago, I would say this is where the breakthrough happened for me, for my life to shift completely. I was working back then 7 days a week, 24 hours a day in something that I love to do, and I'm still enjoying, which is real estate investment, pretty much. Except that I was doing it 7 days a week. Not really a way to balance your life, right? I think if you want to learn about balance, you have to know what unbalance is, really. And so about 4 years ago, I decided that, what's the definition of insanity? Well, it's to keep doing the same thing. Some of you, I'm sure, know it over and over again and expect a different result.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided that this insanity was going to have to stop. And basically it didn't take much, but it's almost like, and that's why I believe so much in coaching. It's really difficult to see it for ourselves. We have blind spots, like we say. And so it didn't take me much to become that financially free that I've always wanted, but I just couldn't see it. I just couldn't see it because my belief was that I had to work hard to be successful, and many other beliefs that went through. And so I had to work that pretty much to shift. And that shift was amazing for me because really, I mean, for those of you that know a little bit about real estate, the other side of real estate is basically you are becoming the banker, right? So becoming the banker was for me to become a private lender instead of being the one running and asking and begging the bank for financing. All of a sudden I was on the other side and people would come to me, I was in their shoes. So private lending is I love it because it's all about being very passive. Once, of course, you have to know what you're doing, but once you've mastered this, for me, it was very easy to shift to that. So this has freed up, to make a long story short, a lot of my time. And so this is when I started to ask myself the question, okay, what is it that I am, what is the next step? What is the next step? What is it that I'm here to contribute? And so, you know, I'm still looking and refining this why, because the why is everything to me. We've talked about this, Patty, in our last interview, but really, if you can figure out the why and get that juice and that passion going, or keeping it going, because sometimes passion goes up and down. It's like real estate, right? We have it up and then it goes down and then it goes back up. Then this is a juice of all life, really. And so my passion is really to contribute to human transformation. I love to see the shift in people's life as a result of the processes that I've learned and trained, like what you said, Patty, some of the process that you know. And I love to contribute to animal causes. This is sort of like my why and why I'm doing this. To me, animals are really the source of unconditional love, and I really believe that the state of the world right now needs so much of that. So helping them is a way for me to give back and to contribute to restoring on this planet right now that sense of love and connection that through the feminine we've lost. And so that's why I believe also it's a time for women to shine, every woman on the planet, to shine their light. The time is now, and I'm here.
Good. The time is now. Perfect segue. Let's do this. Let's dive right in. So the topic today was struggle is optional, the 5F system to how to surf the wave of life with flow and grace. So take it away, Marie. And along the way, I think she's going to give you opportunities to ask questions or whatever that may be. But I have my paper and pen ready. So
awesome. Very good.
Let's do this.
What I want to share with you guys today is really a simple system that I've used over and over the last pretty much 7 years that has worked for me, has worked for all my clients. And it's a very simple way to look at life, but it really is holistic in my sense. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. And then I want to take you through a process where you're going to be uncovering a little bit of that for yourself. And then we're going to go into understanding how to find your why through that process, actually. So the 5F system is actually, I didn't create this. It's actually from Kevin Nation. He's a great coach in the US. And the 5F is really a very simple way to look at life. So the first F, and they are not more important than the others. So I'm just going to say, you know, the first F, let's call it family and relationship. That would be the first F. Family relationship is all about our interaction or relationship into the world, whether it's your family, your spouse, you know, your relationship with your children, your relationship to yourself as well. Or you want to receive love, or do you give love, or do you connect? Pretty much. So that's the first F. The second F, let's call it fitness and health. So fitness and health has to do with, obviously, you know, fitness, but it's not just fitness like the percentage of body fat that I have in my body. It's much greater than that, obviously. This is more holistic. So we're looking at, you know, your level of energy, or the nutrition you put in your body, or you carry yourself emotionally into the world, because for us women, there is a lot to say about mastering our emotion, a lot to say about it. So, you know, I would put it in that category, the fitness and health. And obviously any health issues or any health about your body, taking care of yourself, fall into this category. So that's the second F. The third F that I want to share is finances. So finances, you know, again, it's not literal, like it's not just, okay, how much money do I make, or how much money do I have in my bank account? But to me, finances is a flow of life, because really money is all about buying ourselves life experience. and we know that if we don't have it, then we don't have the time that we would like to have to take care of people that are dear to our heart. So we cannot really contribute fully into causes that are dear to our hearts in the world, whether they're animal causes, human causes. We cannot really be fully present if we are running by life by I have to work instead of I choose to work. And therefore, you know, in this category, I would put as well any passive income that you can generate for yourself that would free up your time from the things that are dear to your heart. Because again, the time is now. So how much in this part of your life are you, you know, what is it that needs to be worked on still that you'd like to master, you know, in this F category? And I would say in the finance, I would also put contribution into the world. So you know, how you contribute or you give value into the world. Whether you are doing a coaching profession or you're doing anything, how do you contribute? How do you give back? You know, you own value. Because really, if we don't give back, what's the point of life, right? If we are not in contribution, if we don't feel like we're giving something that is our gift. So the 3F, so now the 4th F would be, which one am I missing? Fun. How about that one? So fun is all about living in your present moment. Present moment being, I'm not scheduling anything today, or I am actually doing an activity like, you know, for instance, I love dancing personally. I love Latin dancing. So when I dance, I totally connect with myself. I disconnect from my mind and I really feel connected to, you know, to being in the present. I'm not thinking of the future. I'm not thinking of the past. I'm not thinking of my problem. So how much of that fun, you know, I'm not talking about fun, having fun. It's really the fun of present time awareness, of feeling connected to life instead of in your mind thinking of the future. So how much of that is going on in your life or is not going on in your life? And I'm missing one. The 5th one is faith and spirituality. So when we talk about faith, again, it's not how much, you know, anything to do necessarily with religion. I mean, yes, if you are going to church, great, you know, this is your faith. But I mean more faith that I can trust my own inner guidance and I can let go of my fear. Because it's impossible to have faith and to have fear in the same time. Try it. I mean, it didn't work for me. So one has to give. Which one is the one that obviously you choose to feed? One has to give. So in this area, I would like for you to take a look at how much fear is running still your life, especially right now, especially with everything that is going on in your life. And how much of that fear is taking away from your own, your ability to believe in yourself, really, your ability to follow your own path, your ability to rely on your own intuition or guidance instead of maybe a guidance from the outside world, from society, from your parents, from your spouse, from your friends, from everything that is around you. Does that make any sense to you guys, what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Awesome. So this 5F system is really about, like, I don't have, usually I have a PowerPoint, but it's like a wheel, you know, and if you could put those 5F right like in a circle, it's really for you to, you know, question yourself, where am I at in those 5F in my life right now? Just looking at my note because I'm talking and I'm not looking at the note. Yeah, it's about surfing pretty much. So life is about surfing the 5F. Do we agree that one cannot exist without the other? So if I have finances but I don't have health, that doesn't make sense. If I have fun and health and finance and I don't have any relationship in my life, life is going to be pretty boring. So it's really about how do I surf the 5F of my life. And so not to give one more importance than the other, and how do I balance my life so I can live every day, every week, every month in this balance, you know, balancing those 5F. And to me, the 5F is really important because it's also in each of those aspects, you know, ask yourself the question, how do I want to feel in my finances? Because it's really the question that needs to be asked here. It's not about anything else. It's not the car that you're driving that is important, it's how you feel about it. And it's not the relationship that you have in your life, it's how you feel about it. You know,
Oh, wait,
that is.
can we take that for a second? Sorry, do you mind? Do you mind if I interrupt?
Yes, of course,
Oh.
Patty, yes.
So you said, how do I want to feel in my finances, or how do I want to feel in my fitness? So ultimately, we ask that question and drill down to get to a place of perhaps the value or the motivation or the why behind the reason.
Correct. Correct, exactly. So that's what I do with my clients when we set up an objective, let's say, you know, 5 years from now, because we always start by the end, not by the beginning. It's not,
Okay.
well, how do I want to feel a week from now? Let's look at the big picture. 5 years from now, how do I want to feel in those areas of my life? And you know, you start from there. It's like a funnel, but you go, it's a triangle going down. So, you know, start 5 years from now. How do I want to feel in my finances? How do I see myself doing, contributing, giving back? How much money do I want to make? You know, it's not a taboo question. Why not? You know, but it's more than that. You know, maybe how much passive income do I want to build so I can free up my life, free up my time? Same in your relationship. You know, how do I want to feel love? How do I want to receive and give love? It's not how many relationships we have in our life, and you know how many friends we have on Facebook that is important, right? It's really how much they mean to you. And so how do you want to feel in your relationship in general, with your children, you know, with your spouse? How do you want to be respected, giving love, you know, and receiving love? And so I would invite you to take a look at, in the 5F of your life, you know, how do you want to feel? Because really, it always remind me of this, my teacher, one of my mentor, Denise Lynn. She always said this. She always says, where intention goes, energy flows. So the intention is really driven by your emotion. And so you would know right away when you meet someone, or when you go somewhere, or you know, you go to a job interview, or you meet someone that you're going to interview. How do you feel? You know, trust that inner sense, because that's what it is, really. That's your inner guidance.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, Patty?
Yes, it does. And I know I've done different types of works along what you're talking about. And some of the things that, which I think you're getting at when you're asking this question, is I attached, in a sense of how do you want to feel, is once I would get the word, for example, freedom was an important one for me. Then I looked at, if that's my why, then I looked at everything to say, what do I need to set up in order? So I would have 5, let's say, core values. What do I need to set up? How do I need to live each area of my life so that that's always being fulfilled? And for example, in the finances, what was a turnaround also for me was, yes, the passive income. I'm just going to make sure that that's muted. There we go. That, yes, the passive income, that was a part, but the other part was the part I never wanted to look at, my spending habits. so, but which was big because I realized I did a really drill down and noticed I'm working so hard, and it felt like I was never arriving at the place where I thought I should be with let's say for example money that I was making. And when I took a really look at my expenses, I said, oh my God, no wonder. So I wanted to get off of that hamster wheel by not just the fact of saying, yes, I want to make more passive income. What am I doing with it? So I need to really look at where everything was, and I'm still doing that. But that was a big shift, for example, in that, because that was one of my more recent sort of drill downs that I was doing.
Yes. It's a great awareness, huh? In the money exchange, huh? There is, like you said, the spending, there is the earning, there is the investing, and what's the fourth flow? Earning, spending, investing. Can you help me? It's going to come up, but there is a fourth one. Saving.
Saving.
There you go.
Saving.
The person that doesn't.
Sorry, I had to unmute.
It's all good.
Thank you. And so in each of those areas, there are traps. You know, spending is good. Because think about an economy that doesn't spend, it becomes dead, right? So overspending is what you were talking about, and probably in your case, Patty, related to, if I may say something about your belief that I got to work really hard.
Yes.
So somewhat that belief was driving this overspending for you, because, you know, behind or over whatever we do over, there is always a belief that we actually follow, because our belief determines our life. So if I believe that I have to work really hard, somewhat I'm going to spend a lot of money, and all of a sudden I'm not even aware that I'm spending that money. That's the way it goes. Does that make sense, Patty?
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
spending, investment, and what was the fourth one?
So investing, the first one is earning.
Earning.
Then you know, spending. When you earn, you spend. Then you invest. Hopefully you invest. I hope you invest.
Yes.
If you want to build passive income, investing is a big key. And saving, you know, saving could be, well, I want to do a trip somewhere, and I want to save some money for this. So anyway, this is a big subject for me. The money, abundance, prosperity, because we did a full course on this, inspired by Frederick Lehman. He wrote actually a book that I highly recommend called Prosperity Consciousness, if you guys ever come across this book. And I'm teaching this course actually right now online on prosperity consciousness, because I really believe that this is one of the key for freedom. Like what you are talking about, Patty, because really looking at all the traps behind all the four flows, monetary flows, is where it is. You know, some people can spend moderately but cannot save, or some people can save but are terrified to invest. If you're terrified to invest, how are you going to build passive income? It's not going to happen. Because there is always risk, right? So you got to do your due diligence, blah blah blah. But so what stops you from that is what we address. You know, is what is my belief that you know, if I invest my money, I'm going to lose it. Maybe what is the belief behind it? So this is, anyway, you got me going on a tangent.
Yeah, no, because I wanted to kind of, just so that they kind of hear a little bit of that, because for me, that was the deep dive is important, not just looking at the superficial part of it, the first level of it. It's how much you got to drill down, because that is totally connected to the why, or your motivation, the fuel that will make you, you know, shift and do what you need to do in order to really create the life that you want, right? So the why is a major one, but you don't get it at the first time you ask that question. It's the over questioning and going and drilling, and then you're like, oh my God, I gotta, you know. So yeah.
Exactly. And the finances are a big part, because, you know, they buy us our life experiences. So if you can put your finances in order, then everything then falls easy, because then you can buy those life experiences. But again, you know, asking you the question, what life experiences do I want to buy for myself? You know, do I want to just keep buying clothes, or do I want to contribute? How do I want to contribute? You know, how do I use this money wisely so it really can nourish my life instead of going for instant gratification, for instance. Right? Anyway, it's a big subject, but where I wanted to go with this is that really this leads me to having you guys. I want to have you reflect maybe 2-3 minutes on the 5F of your life right now, and give yourself a from 0 to 10. How would you say you would give yourself to? Okay, in my finances, I'm a 5 out of 10, or I'm a 6 out of 10. In my relationship, I'm an 8 out of 10. There is always, of course, ways to improve. So it's not like, oh yeah, everything is wrong. But you know, if I assess myself realistically and I'm being really honest with myself, how do I rate myself? So I'd like for you guys to take 3 minutes now and you know, reflect upon that. And what you'll do is that you would take so when you've gone through your 5F, give yourself, you know, do an average of the 5. So divide by 5, and you're going to have a number out of 10.
Wait, repeat that.
So let's say, you know, my average is 6 out of 10. Let's say, you know, you guys do, you know, on each of them, you do your marks, and then you decide, you know, what is the average. So my average is 7, 8. So all you have to do is just add on all the numbers and divide by 5, and you'll have your average where you stand. And what I'd like for you to share with me, each of you, because we are a small group today, we can do that. What is your average out of 10? And what is, in your opinion, what is the F that is taking away you reaching more towards a 10? Because we all have a weak point. So if you can share with me or with us, what is it that you feel is taking away from you, is taking away? Nobody has questions, so I guess that makes sense what I did, what I said.
No, I got my number.
Good. Oh, you were fast, Patty.
Well, I mean, I've done, you know.
Done it. Yeah.
I've done work like this, and yeah.
Very nice. Just gonna leave 2 more minutes. Usually, you know, you don't have to think too much about it. It's really an intuitive thing. So you know where you are, and you know what can be improved. So whoever is ready can go first.
Who's gonna go? Okay, so Melanie, she's ready. She says, I am a pretty level 6.
Okay, Melanie, you could speak up. I'd love to hear you.
So I was looking around, you know, I definitely gave myself bigger points on the fun factor, because I have been really focusing on this year, and I would say probably in the last 2 years, really focusing on being present in that moment. You know, it's something I actively have to do, but I have seen myself grow a lot more in anything that I do when I really focus on the task at hand, whether it be something social fun or even work related. I am able to just perform better all around and have a better result. I think my next step was definitely working with my relationships with other people, and using that same idea of being more present with my family. I think that's helped me grow in that sense, but I think there are still a couple wrinkles there that definitely have to be ironed out. My finances, they stink. I mean, I'm a teacher. I love to dance, and I will do everything in my power to continue that and live in that moment, because it helps me nourish those other areas. So I still have found that to be a real priority, but it does put a lot of, you know, treacherous waters in my finances. Fitness and health, I can definitely be better. I'm on the go a lot, so I don't think, like, especially when you're talking about nourishing your body and eating all the right foods. I can eat a lot of different kinds of foods as long as it's takeout, and I can eat it in my car, even better, because I'm on the go all the time. So, and I guess faith and spirituality, I think having less self-doubt. You know, I work at a Catholic school and I have to teach religion. So when I think of faith in that sense, it's really daunting to me because I teach it and I am not drinking that Kool-Aid. It was something that I grew up with, and it's really hard for me to say one thing and feel like in my heart I've contradicted that. So that's a little more challenging to me. You know, when I teach math, I love math, so that's in my heart. But teaching faith and spirituality to kids who are also just repeating things that they have heard, that's tough. Because I don't think I think everyone just feels like a robot. Like, this is the answer you're expecting me to say, so let's get through it together.
Yeah.
So I would like to be a little more passionate as far as my faith goes, and I think sometimes that uncertainty in that area can project to other areas too. That self-doubt and feeling like I'm just always giving the answer that's expected as opposed to being passionate about it.
In fact, the word for you would be being authentic, because being authentic with yourself, you know, is meaning that you live in integrity with what you say. And the path of authenticity is a long way, you know, is a long road, obviously. But as we are getting more authentic, we are getting more in touch, you know. I don't know if you guys are like me, but I'm so sick and tired to hear those interviews where everything is so great, you know. Tell me about what pisses you off. Tell me about what pisses you off. Tell me, Mariani.
Oh, I guess the state of the world, right, or at least of the U.S. You know, all these rioting, it drives me insane. I mean, I think, I'm not trying to be political here, but and people can have whatever stance they want. The lack of leadership that we have, you know, really infuriates me, because it's not just one person saying it or one person making a comment, and the news coverage bombards you with that. I've gotten to a point where I just don't want to hear it anymore. Give me a quick bulleted news brief so that I am not completely clueless. But I just don't want to hear 20 different people complaining about the same thing every day and seeing nothing to be done about it. That infuriates me. It really puts me in a really bad mood. You know, I know my mother and I are quarantined together, and if she has the news on, just hearing it, I don't even have to be in the same room, but the fact that I hear it, I don't know what they're saying, but I just know that it's just gonna, it puts me in that state. So, you know, I try to avoid it as much as I can, because how is me being in that state better for anybody?
Exactly. So what is it that you can do? And I'm going to leave you with that, you know, you can implement right away, where you can take action right away in your life, instead of hearing people that don't. Because that's really about you being authentic and speaking, you know, your true voice in the world. We don't want to fit in the box anymore. It's time now to really have your truth and your heart speak through the leadership of the heart, instead of, like you said, repeating what I'm told to do. And the world has to change.
And I think a lot of, you know, I've been talking about this, you know, generally some more in depth depending on who the person is, but you know, I am not that kind of person who's going to jump in a protest and walk and march, because that's not my style. But like,
you don't have to be, but you can find one way that you can.
So my input, you know, I teach math, but I also teach social studies. So in the midst of all this, I'm trying to teach kids about the Constitution, and it's hard because they come from different backgrounds and their parents have their opinions, and that's, you know, it's what they hear is what they think is true, right? Kids don't know how to be authentic yet, because it's whatever they hear and they just regurgitate that stuff. So, you know, my impact is just making kids, I mean, it has to be in a kid-friendly way, but, you know, making kids more aware and being able to say, you know, to take those pauses and to think about things, right? Because at the end of the day, adults are kind of set in their ways. And if you can't get the kids to think differently, then that's not going to really make a difference.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, it's about for you, find that, and I would encourage you to really nourish this, because that's where authenticity lives. Yeah. Thank you, Melanie. Anybody else?
I'm at a 5, a pretty solid 5. Probably the two areas that.
Who is this? I'm not seeing.
I'm Mary Kay.
Hi. Hi, Mary Kay. Like the makeup, Mary Kay?
Faith is probably the one thing you hit on that I struggle with. Is I'm a very shy, quiet person most of the time. So I let fear of stepping out of my box and fear of, just being out there with people hold me back as far as doing that. And, and I try and work on that. And a lot of people don't see that in me, because I can, I can turn on the charm, but I am very quiet, and the other one is, I'm pretty much a workaholic. I work hard at having fun. I work hard at my job. I put a lot of hours in. And so sometimes my relationships, they struggle because of that. So those are the two areas that I probably am the lowest in right now. Fun, I'm not going to do it if I can't have fun at it. So, and fitness and health, this quiet time has really helped me refocus that as far as nutrition, exercising. There's a lot of Zoom classes, and I really like that. So those are the two things.
Good. So, feel into those two things that, and keep asking the question, how do I want to feel there?
Yeah.
How do I want to feel? And get closer to the emotion, as you are asking yourself this question every day would help, I believe, really following that thread of finding your why.
Okay.
How do I want to feel in my faith? And so by contrast, you're going to know, if you don't ask this question, you're not going to know when you're going to enter a situation or a relationship that doesn't feel right. How are you going to know the difference? But just putting this into the awareness, this is when you can create this infinite field of possibilities in front of you. As you know what it is that you want, then by default, you know what you're not going to want anymore in your life.
Good.
If we don't define it ourselves, other people will define it for us, and we're going to live by other people's agenda. So it's either you taking over and having power over what you feel and you want to feel, or it's other people that are going to decide for you. It's either way or the other. There is no in between.
That's good.
Yeah, that's what I find. I mean, it doesn't mean that in my agenda or my schedule of the week, I'm not allowing anything that is, how do you say, spontaneous. But give yourself, 70%. This is what I'm thinking, when I do my 5F during the week or during the month or during the year. Well, I'll be happy with 70% if I achieve that this week. And the rest is up to God, and the 30% is loose. Or, it's whatever you set to be that you follow through. And so, because you work towards yourself is really proportional to your self-esteem. If you're not keeping your words to yourself, it's better to have less objective and less goal, and keeping your words instead of putting so many tasks and you're not keeping. And so you're going to be really putting the bar so high, you're going to be really very dissatisfied with yourself. So the 5F, you could use it in your weekly goal achievement, your monthly goal achievement, your yearly goal achievement. But whatever you set, I put rewards into myself. So let's say, if I accomplish 70% of my goal this week, I am going to reward myself next week. So, start to play with it like you are playing with your inner child. If you don't have a coach in your life, just be your own coach and say, okay, well, next week I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to do my nail, or I'm going to spend some time with a great friend, walk in a park, or I'm going to allow myself to sleep a little bit more that morning, just because I'm rewarding myself.
I grew up on a farm. I don't sleep. that was never something that we did. We didn't sleep in. Got up and got moving. So
you know, it's a busy special time, whatever that is for you, that you know, you could set a reward towards accomplishment. And that's how I personally do this all the time, and it really gives me a sense of accomplishment and confidence, because all you can do the small things, you're going to be able to do the great things. Doesn't matter what it is that you've set yourself to have in your schedule. I use a 5F system for that. You know, okay, how do I want to feel in my week, and what do I want to accomplish in my 5Fs this week? And when you're going to start doing this, I actually have a system where I put different colors in my agenda. So the F for green is finances, and I have my fun, which is turquoise, because I love turquoise colors. And you know, I'm starting to play with colors, so in my agenda I have different colors, and so that keeps the balance really between my personal life, my work life, my coaching life, my private lending life, and so it's not all together, and I can feel that sense of peace.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah. Anybody else that wants? Just tell me your high, maybe your high F, and you the low F for you. You know, what's your highest and what's the average? Patty, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I mean, well, I'm at a pretty good spot right now, but to your point, I'm saying this because probably a year ago I was not, and my fitness, which was always like at a 9-10, because that my life is dancing and competing, and when I sold the studio and started traveling, it dropped to like a 5 easily, if not lower. That's what it felt like to me, because I didn't have the regularity and the rituals that were implemented being at home more with the studio, teaching, moving. So my body was, and I was in perimenopause, so my body was changing, and I was physically not happy. Like out of all the Fs, that one was, so I took, to your point, I went, that was the one that was the lowest. So I was diligent, and it took a while because I needed to find the right formula, because in my circumstance where I was always on the road, I was asking a lot of questions, and I made that important because I knew if that wasn't there, I would be miserable. I really would. Like it's such an important thing for me, like everything is, but like fitness was, I mean, I guess like everything. But it had been so high and that it went so low. I think it was the drastic drop that freaked me out. And so, so I spent a lot of time doing a lot of research so that I could be on the road. And what was I going to do as I'm on the road? So I got a virtual trainer. I figured out, you know, I started to do more intermittent fasting because my lifestyle of eating late sometimes when I'd be out in different places. I started to read up on, you know, the bulletproof diet where you add more fat so that you're not as hungry. So I started to do all this, which then I was back in line. So now it's back up at a, you know, 7, 8, not, you know, I'm okay with it not being at a, I mean, I'm okay with it. If I compare myself when I was at 10, I was like a specimen, but that's all I did, you know. Now it's a different time. So I'm okay with my 8 of today, you know. But to your point, during that time, I let the other ones say, you're going to take a pause because this is too important. So they stayed at a, let's say they were maybe, fun was always in there for sure. Faith, no, everything was in there. Probably family, the whole love relationship was also lower because of my lifestyle. But out of the 2, I needed my fitness to go up there first so that I felt good with my physicality, because that provided me energy to then look at other areas. So if that makes sense. So that's,
and where are you at now, Patty, in terms of
pretty much, an 8, I can say. But it doesn't, I don't want to be like, I don't want to work on things like, you know, the average 7.8 was my average to be.
What brings it down towards 7 and stop it from becoming a 9, let's say.
Okay, now that you're asking, the finances, which was the core thing, has been lately, has been the spending, to pay more attention to that, because I do work a lot and I wasn't happy with what I would see. The passive income is already in place, but working on making it bigger, because it's there, but I want more because I want more freedom. So working on the passive and the spending, that's where it's a little bit more on a 7 scale, because I.
Very good. But do you see that how much Patty is aware of what she needs to work on?
Yeah.
And so when you know, you can act on it. When you don't know, like you said, oh, I was not aware that I was spending so much. And it's just sometimes a matter of just starting to focus on those areas of your life and starting to be aware. And this is how you're going to bring this up for you.
Mm-hmm. No, it makes a big difference, because I've started doing that a while, and, you know, the categorizing and looking at the areas, because then if it's too holistic, you can get lost in it. Like you just don't know. So by separating it and actually having a way to measure it, and people around you that are on the same game as you are, you know, they're part of that community, because then you hold each other accountable to really process. So whether if it's not through a coach, it's got to be through the right community of friends and people that they're actually on the same plan as you are, in the sense of they get it. They're not going to tell you, oh, don't worry, you know, that's like, no, you got to think about, not worry, but you want to think, because I don't believe in fear. Also, you just want to be proactive with where you're headed and what you're going to do. So, yeah, it made a big difference when I would see things that way and actually categorize them and regularly check in there and say, oh, I noticed this needs a little bit of tending right now, so let me go there, you know, and choose that. And so it's been actually easier to move through life, like a whole lot easier.
Sure. Oh yeah, this is a great simple system, but great. I'd like to hear the other ladies. Just give me your high and your low and your average.
Okay, Alicia.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm great.
I've had kind of an interesting transition too, similar to Patty's, but around COVID. So my numbers before COVID were very different than they kind of are now, I think, in terms of physical fitness and things like that. But probably I was a 6, and probably my highest was fun. And on the lower end was the finances. And one that this exercise highlighted for me was sort of the trust / faith / self-doubt side. That was probably my lowest number. That was 4. And that was kind of surprising to me. So I think I need to focus on that a little bit. And I've also found it very interesting, because I put my relationship, family, friends at like a 7. But I'm finding that during this COVID, I'm really kind of reevaluating what I need out of those types of things, and realizing that a lot of my needs are going unmet. So I'm trying to sort of navigate how to get to a better place on the other side.
So ask yourself, you know, how do I want to feel in those relationships? How do I want to interact and start noticing what's going on? You know, and unfortunately, some relationship could be toxic, and we were not aware of that. And so, you know, do I want to distance myself from some people? Do I want to create new friends? Or is this just a matter of naming your needs, like you said? Because a lot of time we talk a lot about this with Patty, and I'm going to be in a workshop, module 3, to actually specifically address this with women. Being able to name your needs.
Yes, and I think you hit it on the head. The toxic, like that was my norm in the past, and wasn't even aware that kind of like my needs mattered. So it's a process, I guess, right?
Totally, yeah. Because behind the needs are always belief. If I express myself, I'm going to come across that I'm needy, and it doesn't look good to be needy. I have to be strong. I have to be superwoman. Could be that. I mean, you know, it's to everyone is different, but it's always to explore the belief behind it, that what do I choose to believe now instead of what I have believed up to now, and start to change things for yourself.
And it's also a coping mechanism for defending yourself in a toxic situation. I'm kind of learning in hindsight.
What do I have? What am I willing to accept, and what am I not willing to accept? What garbage am I supposed to take in, and what garbage I'm not going to accept anymore? It requires a lot of courage to take a look at that, and facing some relationship, but it's needed to be able to meet those relationships that are going to meet you where you are, where you want to be.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Liddy, did you want to share, or you're good? Because I know you unmuted yourself. Because then after this, we'll wrap it up. So I wanted to.
Well, I'll be very quick. Obviously, my high is always fun because you got to have fun in life, and I'm a very positive person, and a people person. So I guess like my friends, especially the ones at the studio, are my family. So not seeing them. So like again with the COVID, it's kind of like gone down a little bit. I mean, some of us have had actually Zoom, virtual Zoom little cocktail meetings in evenings to chat. So, but, and my high is fun. Finances, obviously, sometimes you do get a little worried about you're going to have enough when you retire, trying to think what else can I do? Some things right now are uncontrollable because of the economy, but I know like it will get better, and thinking what else afterwards, once things get better, what can I do? What more could I do to make sure that I'm comfortable, well, when and if I retire, which is a long way. I'm not one to sit there and twiddle my thumbs. So I'm always got to be doing something and moving. Fitness, like I'm always on the go, always doing stuff. I'm either at work or I'm at the dance studio. Right now I'm more concentrated on work because I'm working from home because of the COVID situation. But I'm trying to work out at the same time, since in the mornings or in the evenings. But and faith, I'm a pretty positive person, and pretty intuitive, and I do trust my inner guidance and my ability to believe myself. But I still kind of sometimes beat myself up about things. Like I get frustrated, especially like the premenopausal weight gain that still hasn't gone away. They came out of nowhere. So sometimes I'm like beating myself up about that, like the weight that I put on that I can't seem to get rid of. But I still just keep plugging away and staying positive.
What would be, you think, in your opinion, Libby, the one that takes away a lot of, puts you down out of all the five, the one that really drives you down?
That drives me down out of all the five? I don't know, because I'll sometimes like beat myself up about it, but then I'll give myself positive thoughts and positive, give myself the pep talk that I usually give everybody else. So it's kind of like, I don't stay down really. It's just like that's one moment of like, why isn't the weight going down? Why am I doing it this way? What am I doing? But then I'm, you kind of like give myself the pep talk because I'm such a positive person. So, but
so which one would be your highest, and which one would be your lowest out of the
fun was always the highest.
And the lower would be what?
And well, the lowest. I mean, like I would say now, like kind of like the family relationships, because I'm not seeing people. Being a people person and one that likes to, be around people and hugs and so, but I mean, it's okay because we're doing like virtual dance lessons, dance classes. I miss my favorite little guy. Patty knows who that is. My favorite little 2-year-old guy. That I babysit. I babysit a lot, but you see people through Zoom, even though you're not physically with them. So at least that keeps you going.
Right. So what's your average?
Probably 7, I'd say.
Okay.
7.5. Yeah.
So yeah, if there is one way to you can improve, what would that be? You know, and maybe doing more social, like what you've done already. That you're doing
Yeah.
this. You know, what can you do to nurture? Because you're obviously someone that loves the connection, and so
Yeah.
it's a matter of going into a circle where there is more community and feeling the connection, feeling the interaction, and what kind of interaction? You know, because you could have small talks, but you could have also deep talks. So
Yeah,
which one is important to you?
and then like another thing that I love doing that I was always busy doing is volunteer work. Of course, now that's kind of gone to the wayside because all the events have been postponed and canceled. So, and you know, that's another fun thing, and interaction with people and just helping people. I love like just helping, volunteering and helping. So
what can you do right now to volunteer, even if you're from home? You know, there could be a ways that you could help organization as well.
yeah.
Find that thread, because you know it's really about, okay, how do I uplift myself? How do I
Yeah.
contribute?
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that ways. Like if I was one of the ones that wasn't working from home, I would obviously started looking at those avenues of what I can do to volunteer and help out other people. And especially it's my work right now has been so crazy because of the situation that it's nonstop, like 8 to 5. I'm still working now while I'm listening to you because I had to get stuff done. But see, I'm multitasking. But I didn't want to miss today's chatting with Patty. But it's like that. It's just nonstop.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So somewhat
And I'm not complaining because working, not good.
somewhat we got to interrupt this non-stop to
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
take a few minutes to say, okay, well, you know, what is it that can make me more fulfilled in my life?
Mm-hmm.
Melanie is saying, so we identify those areas that need work, but one of my biggest issues is starting anything. I can easily dedicate time to thinking about things and even feel that energy to act, but the action doesn't initiate. Yeah, it's a big one. So what would stop you from initiating things? What is the fear behind that? Or the excuse or the belief?
I'm not even sure. I mean, sometimes the silliest of tasks, I can wake up in the morning and say, okay, I'm gonna do 3 tasks today, whether it be chores or maybe a project that I'm working on at my job. And I always come back to the same idea. It's like, yes, I've got these great ideas, but initiating them is so hard for me. Once I start them, it's very easy for me to be completely consumed and I could get lost for hours. But it's almost like I have a really hard time just starting that task. And the more I think about not starting it, like I get stuck in that wormhole of thinking of, if I don't start it, I know what my consequences are, but I'm still thinking about not doing it and not, just do it, like go ahead and just do it and then it'll be done. But I can't get out of that hole. So
I would recommend find yourself that can keep you accountable against that procrastination. So it could be a friend, it could be someone you trust. Like, okay, every week I want you to keep me accountable for what I'm gonna do, what I'm saying that I'm gonna do, and that would help you a lot. If you cannot keep yourself accountable, you could use this 5F system, but if you find it's difficult to even reward yourself from accomplishing things, I would say find someone else that can keep you accountable for keeping your words towards yourself, because procrastination keeps us stuck and then we feel guilty, right? And then there is all this energy of stagnation.
Yeah, and to be honest, like it gets overwhelming, when you're stuck in that hole. You've got now, your stack of papers is now a mountain.
Correct. So my recommendation is try to use the 5F system, see how it works for you. What do you want to feel once okay, that would be a good question for you. How do I want to feel once I accomplish this project? And write it down. How do you want to feel? And keep connecting with this feeling, because that's going to give you the strength to start it. That is not enough. Have yourself, someone keep you accountable for this. This is so important, especially for the projects that are dear to your heart. that you want to start that you've always delayed and put aside. Because life is passing by. That's all I'm saying.
Really true. This is where you, I mean, to your point, like I've always used a coach or have the kinds of friends, the ones that I talk about this type of thing regularly, that are on the same path, that we call each other on our bullshit, like we really do. And people that care about you the most will, they'll say that. So if it's not through a coach but I have both in my life all the time, because I need that, because I notice then it becomes like it's another habit that you've developed. It's actually easier, but that first getting out of stuck is the hardest part. So you do the feeling, you get the accountability, the coach. Once you do that enough times, you get out of stuck. Oh my gosh, then you free flow.
Yeah, I personally always, I think the last 4 years, I spent 1 month without a coach.
Right.
And I have a coach all the time. And it's not the same coach, actually, it evolves with time because, you know, we change.
Yep.
And even coaches, you know, they change too, right? So find someone, like Patty said, that feels comfortable for you, that you can reflect and have them call on your BS, because we all have BS, right? I want to lose 10 pounds, but I want to keep eating chocolate ice cream full of sugar. You know, someone has to call on that. Because you cannot hide from the truth. You know, it's there. It's going to be on your face. Yeah.
Cool. Did that help, Melanie, in any way?
Yes, very much. But now I have to get back into it.
There's always a but. It's an and. It's no longer but. And you're going to find.
I feel like my and is an ellipsis, like I'm waiting for it to happen.
And ... Okay, got it. Well, on that note, we can go on here for a while, but it is at the end of the time. And I do know that, Marie Francoise, you have some offers that I'll be sending this by email to everybody so you can take a look at it. But I know you have some things that you want to offer anybody to help them out if they'd like to coach with you. Did you want to share a little bit about what you're offering?
Sure. Well, it just happened that I'm also hosting workshops this week and next week. The one in English is on Friday and also on next Friday. It's a 2 hours workshop. I would highly recommend you go to this workshop. This is the first time that I'm actually offering this in public. This particular workshop, this is actually a transmission that I received from my own mentor, and he received it from his own mentor. And one day we were with him back in British Columbia in Canada, and he said, okay, so I'm going to give you something that is a tool that is probably going to change your life, and it's going to change the life of people that are going to be near you, but only use it wisely and when the time is right. And so I've been doing this process with private clients, but I've never done it in public. And I just felt that the time was right to give it. So I'm making it extremely affordable. It's $45 for 2 hours Canadian. So it's like $30 US. It's really a gift. It's almost like I'm giving it for free, but you know, this is actually for me a very important part. And what this is going to reveal is we're going to go into childhood, we're going to go into emotional patterns, and it's going to teach you why you're doing things you're doing and why you're reacting this way in your life. When your needs are not met, you're reacting this way. You are either in anger or in denial, or you are in blame. Whatever that is going on, you're going to know why, and you're going to know where it's coming from. So this is unraveling our emotional childhood patterns, negative patterns, obviously, I mean, for a lot of us. And that's what keeps me stuck in relationship, keeps me stuck in my finances, keeps me small. And the second part of that workshop is about unraveling your dharma, or what I call the dharma, which is your greatest gift. Because I believe that your greatest gift is where your greatest pain has been as a child, and what you haven't been given, you should give back. And so that's what we're going to be talking about in this workshop. And what I love about it too, first of all, it changed my life, changed my boyfriend's life. When I met him, you know, he went through it, and it was really good because we understand now what each other patterns are. So when he's reacting this way, I know why. Doesn't mean that I agree when he throws anger at me, because, you know, there is so much that I can take. But I have more compassion when he goes there. Okay. And same with him. He knows where I'm going. When, you know, if my needs are not met, I'm going there. And he knows why. All right. So that gives us a little bit of buffer in our relationship. And so that's gonna help you, you know, personally. That's gonna help you in relationship in general. So that's this Friday, and next Friday I'm doing it. And then the second workshop, it's sort of like the next step. If you are courageous enough to explore belief, what are the beliefs behind the reaction that you have? You know, we talked about belief today. So the belief to me are really important because they really drive your life. So first is to be aware of what belief do I have about anything that I'm doing in life. Like, you know, Patty, you were talking about the belief that I have to work hard. I had this belief many, many times in my life, or many years. And it's only until I was able to remove that belief from my consciousness and really walk a different belief that I was able to actually shift to a passive income, completely financially free. I don't need to work anymore. I'm doing this solely because I love to contribute. And 80%, if you guys want to know, of what I make in coaching goes to animal causes. That's my contribution. This is how I give back. And but, you know, if I didn't change that belief, I would still be stuck in what I was doing 7 days a week, working hard, you know, feeling like I was a superwoman, burning myself, burning my life. You know, I was not even in any relationship. I had a relationship every 3 months with men, and then, you know, they were gone. First come in and first come out. How do you say this in English? You know, come in, come out. I don't remember the expression. Sorry, my English sometimes is lacking. But yeah. What's that?
They come and go.
They come and go, exactly. Because, you know, I was too crazy. I was like this workaholic 7 days a week. So yeah, so this workshop, the second one, is going to be about belief. And it's going to take a little longer because it's a 3 hours workshop, this one. This is $75 Canadian, this one. And so my offer to you, for the one that are courageous and really want to dive a little bit, is to, you know, for Patty's group, I would offer them both for $95 Canadian instead of $120. All you have to do is pretty much mention to me that you are from Patty's group, and what I'll do, because the event is on Eventbrite, I will just refund you $25. This is much easier for me because I don't know how to do it on Eventbrite, this discount thing. So I'll probably refund you the $25 if you're taking both workshops. So that's my offer. And then the second thing that I wanted to offer you guys is a discovery session with me. It's a 50-minute call. It's free. You know, there is no cost to it. The discovery call is really what we are going to put fingers on, is really what is getting in the way of your greatness. Really, you know, what I call the saboteur, or how you self-sabotage yourself from getting what you want in life. And so at the end of the session, you're going to be very clear on what gets in the way of your greatness. So that's what I call the subjective problem, because, you know, the objective problem could be, oh, I don't have enough money. That's the objective problem. But what's the subjective problem behind it? You know, is this a self-esteem issue? Are you not selling yourself at the value that you have? What is it? So we're going to be exploring this, and you're going to be very clear on your subjective problem. This is free, but what I value is that you could, following our call, make a contribution to an animal cause for the time we spent together. Otherwise, I just, you know, this is for me an exchange of value. And for me, if you could just give a donation to an animal cause, you'd make my day.
That's awesome. Well, that's great. That's some pretty good value there that you're giving everybody. Nice. I think I'll take you up on that. That's pretty good. So thank you. I know that we've gone over quite a bit there, but I do appreciate everybody staying on and taking extra time for this. Marie Francoise, thank you. I really think that this was great and that you provide some thought-provoking ideas for all of us to kind of dive into with you on our own, whatever that is, but it's important in order to really get to our greatness, as you said. So thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys.